February 2022. Russia invaded Ukraine with 190,000 troops. Within 72 hours, they had jammed their own communications so badly that soldiers used civilian cell phones. Ukraine intercepted those calls and directed artillery onto their positions. Your network is the primary target. For 60 years, military network security operated on one assumption: build a wall. Keep trusted people inside and adversaries out. This is perimeter-based security. It worked when military networks were isolated systems locked inside concrete bunkers. It is catastrophically incompatible with the modern battlefield. A dismounted infantry platoon operating with Soldier Borne Mission Command deploys approximately 42 active network nodes across a 3-kilometer frontage. Individual soldier displays, edge compute modules, handheld devices, small drones, vehicle-mounted radios, satellite terminals, and unattended ground. Every single one transmits electromagnetic energy. Every single one is a potential point of compromise. There is no wall to build when the network is a moving constellation of 42 radio emitters spread across open terrain. Modern electronic warfare exploits this on 3 axes simultaneously. Detection. Every radio transmission creates an electromagnetic signature that can be triangulated. Russian systems can pinpoint emitting devices within 50 meters. That is precise enough for an artillery strike. Disruption. Dedicated jamming platforms saturate entire frequency bands with broadband noise. This renders radios deaf across a 30-kilometer radius. Deception. The most insidious capability. Instead of blocking communications, sophisticated systems inject false data. Spoofed GPS signals shift a soldier's position by 200 meters. Fabricated Blue Force tracker icons show friendly units where none exist. Falsified threat alerts cause a squad to divert into an actual ambush. Every one of these techniques has been documented in Ukraine. The digital fortress was never really a fortress at all. You build something that assumes the fortress has already fallen. That is zero-trust architecture. The most radical shift in military cybersecurity in a generation. In a traditional network, once you are inside the perimeter, you are trusted. In zero trust, nobody is trusted. Ever. Every device, every user, every packet must continuously prove its identity before communicating with anything else. The tactical implementation operates across 5 simultaneous verification layers. Layer 1. Device identity. Every piece of hardware contains a unique cryptographic certificate burned into silicon at manufacture. It cannot be cloned or extracted. Layer 2. User identity. Soldiers cannot type passwords in combat. The SBMC uses near-field communication pairing supplemented by behavioral biometrics, including gait analysis and grip pressure. The system continuously verifies the operator matches the authorized profile. Layer 3. Application authorization. A rifleman sees his sector and immediate threats. The platoon leader sees the full operational picture, including adjacent units and higher headquarters intelligence. Access changes dynamically as the situation evolves. Layer 4. Data classification enforcement. Every piece of information carries a cryptographic tag indicating its classification and releasability. Secret targeting data cannot reach an unclassified device even if it is 3 feet away. Layer 5. Continuous behavioral monitoring. The network watches its own traffic. A device might normally send short position updates. If it suddenly streams high bandwidth data to an unrecognized address, the system flags the anomaly. It isolates the device and alerts the administrator within milliseconds. 5 layers. 5 simultaneous checks. Running continuously on every node, every second, even during active combat. You cannot run 5 layers of continuous cryptographic verification by sending every request to a server in Maryland. On a contested battlefield, the satellite link might be jammed. The latency might be 300 milliseconds when you need 3. So the Army brought the brain to the battlefield. The SBMC Tactical Edge Compute Node is a ruggedized processor approximately the size of a hardcover book. It weighs 3.2 kilograms. It is carried in the platoon leader's rucksack or mounted on a vehicle. This single node hosts the Zero Trust Policy Engine and the AI Threat Classification Model. It also hosts the Sensor Data Fusion Broker and the Cryptographic Key Management Service. A local cache stores the most recent 4 hours of operational data. Power consumption is approximately 18 watts. Here is the critical concept. When the satellite link goes down, the platoon does not go blind. The Edge Compute node continues operating independently. The Zero Trust engine continues authenticating. The AI continues classifying threats. The sensor fusion continues running. The platoon becomes a self-contained digital organism that carries its own brain. It does not need permission from the cloud to think. An infantry platoon of 40 soldiers inserts via helicopter into a contested river valley. Intelligence indicates the enemy has deployed electronic warfare assets in the area. The platoon carries the full SBMC suite with 4 edge compute nodes and 6 relay nodes including 2 drones. 0 hour. The platoon hits the ground. Devices are preloaded with mission cryptographic keys distributed via secure wired connection during the pre-mission brief. Radios have been in a mission control mode during the flight. Electronically invisible. 2 minutes in. Squad leaders power on radios in low probability of intercept mode. Spread spectrum frequency hopping across 900 channels, changing frequency 200 times per second. Each radio performs a mutual cryptographic handshake with neighboring nodes. In 4 seconds, the mesh network is established. 37 of 42 nodes authenticate. 8 minutes. The network is operational. The AI builds the common operational picture. Blue force positions appear on every display. 23 minutes. First electronic warfare contact. The soldier's spectrum analysis module detects broadband jamming on the primary frequency band. The mesh network responds automatically. Adaptive frequency hopping accelerates. Traffic shifts to a backup frequency set outside the jammer's coverage. Throughput drops from 2 megabits to 500 kilobits. The system reprioritizes. Voice and threat alerts continue at full fidelity. Drone video drops to minimal resolution. The platoon remains connected. 31 minutes. The second jammer activates, targeting the backup band. 3 soldiers lose mesh connectivity. On the platoon leader's display, 3 blue chevrons switch to hollow outlines indicating last known position only. Inside each disconnected device, autonomous mode activates. Zero trust continues locally. The AI continues classifying threats from local sensors. Displays show friendly positions tagged as stale data with a known age stamp. They can still fight on cached intelligence. 34 minutes. The Zero Trust anomaly detection engine flags an irregularity. One node has begun transmitting high bandwidth data to an unrecognized address. The system does not guess. It quarantines the node, revokes its certificates, blocks its traffic, and alerts the platoon leader. All within 2 seconds. No human intervention needed. The mesh reroutes around the excluded node. 47 minutes. The platoon moves beyond the jammer's range. Frequencies clear. Bandwidth restores. Disconnected soldiers' radios find the mesh and re-authenticate automatically. Fail markers update to live. The quarantine node is physically inspected. The firmware corruption from a power surge, not enemy action. The device is wiped, rekeyed, and restored. Full capability recovered. 0 data lost. 0 casualties from network degradation. Every capability I described is currently fielded in prototype testing or documented in Department of Defense acquisition roadmap. The adaptive frequency hopping exists today. The edge compute architecture is being tested now. The Zero Trust framework is mandated policy with a 2027 deadline. But the enemy gets a vote. Spread spectrum hopping can be defeated by wideband reactive jamming that sweeps the entire spectrum. Cryptographic certificates can be compromised through side-channel attacks if a device is physically captured. Behavioral biometrics can be fooled by coercion. The AI anomaly detection can generate false positives. This quarantines legitimate nodes during critical moments, effectively jamming itself. This is not a problem that gets solved. It is an arms race that accelerates. And so far, we have only talked about protecting data within a single platoon. The 3-kilometer bubble. The real power of Soldier Borne Mission Command is what happens when you connect those bubbles together. When every soldier's camera becomes every other soldier's camera. A squad leader sees through his point man's eyes from 200 meters away. The company commander cycles through 36 helmet feeds stitched into a panoramic view. That capability is called vision sharing. The mesh network that enables it is the most ambitious tactical communications architecture ever attempted. It is also the most vulnerable. That is where we are going next.